Well, good morning, folks. Well, I've had my 5 to 6 hours of sleep, so I'm good to go now. But no, this is going to be a little more unconventional hodgepodge of topics, and just me just kind of talking off the cuff here because I'm just in one of those moods, and I just wanted to. So anybody out there is like, get to the point, just tell me what I want to know or need to know, and then let me get on with my day. Then you're not going to like this. So just giving you a heads up. You might as well just turn me off now, because you're not going to like this. So here it goes. All right. Like I said, I got my 5 to 6 hours of sleep because anybody that works 12-hour shifts and work different hours and just different type of jobs in your life. Some things are more demanding physically than other things, and some things are more demanding mentally than physically. It can kind of mess you up after a while because it's hard to stay on task or on track, and it's okay if things are organized, there's a plan, and it works out pretty well, then it's okay. But this is what's on my heart and mind, and this morning, and I've got some other things I'll talk to you guys about, that's been on my heart and mind the last couple of days. Plus a huge shout out for somebody that really deserves it, but I don't normally do that, but I'm going to this time around. So, like I said, this is going to be kind of a hodgepodge of topics. So, if people don't like the off the cuff, unconventional walk-in talks where people are just kind of sharing what's on their heart and mind, like I said, you won't like this. So, fair warning. But anyway, I over the last few days at work, and it's been pretty crazy. It's been pretty crazy, because not only has sleep been kind of elusive, because you have to get up very early, and my son and I, and we work together, which works out well because we've cultivated that relationship for many years. We may not always work directly together, but at least in the same vicinity. We live further away than everybody else from the job, quite a bit further away actually, and we still get there on time, and we still do what we're supposed to do and everything else. And we have very few employees left, and that's the purpose, the reason for the 12-hour shifts, because as like Southern Prepper One has reported several times from his first-hand account information, where people have sent him emails and talked about what's going on in their area of the country and their job site or what they're observing. And Popular Preparedness does the same type of thing, people observing what's going on in their local grocery stores and just general vicinity of where they live, and people reporting things from all over the nation. Well, I can attest to that personally, because I don't want to work 12-hour shifts. I don't think anybody does, really, to be honest with you. But it's required when you don't have that many people to do the job. And what's happening is, if there's a plan and it's organized, it works out okay. That was not the case these last few days. It was chaotic. It was annoying. It was disruptive. It was irritating. It was frustrating. It was a lot of things. And it just reminded me how this is Babylon. And before people are like, oh, this isn't Babylon, and blah, blah, blah. Listen to me, okay? Babylon simply means the land of confusion, okay? Babble on. Like a baby babbles, right? You can't understand what the baby's saying. They're trying to form words, clearly. They're learning the language, they're trying to. But right now it's just confusion. You have no idea what the baby's saying. Just blah, 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 blah. You know, you have no clue, right? Because it's babbling. And that's what a lot of people are doing now. You know, that's what their life is like. It's like a land of confusion. I mean, the rock group Genesis, they got it perfect back in like '86, I think it was. I remember watching that video as a teenager, you know, the land of confusion. I just thought it was an entertaining video, and I, you know, paid attention to the lyrics a little bit, but man, was that way before its time or what? The land of confusion. That's Babylon, okay? And you know, you go back to Genesis, you know, the Tower of Babel. What did God do? He confused their language. They thought that they could build this tower as high as the heavens, and the Lord's like, I don't think so. So he confuses the language so people can't understand each other. Well, people may be speaking the same language, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're understanding each other. You know, because this is a land of confusion and chaos. And I've had to work a whole lot harder this last week than I wanted to. And it takes its toll on you. And it is frustrating, it is irritating. And why do you have to work a whole lot harder than you want to? Because people don't have commitment any longer. They say they're going to do something, and then they don't do it. There's no integrity, there's no honor, there's no character. Close water source, not flowing as well this morning, a little bit. But I love it. When the time comes, find a water source near you, folks. Just a little friendly advice. Find a water source near you. Anyway, anyway, people show up to work, and then they expect to be, and they show up late, if they show up at all. And then they go and they get their coffee break, or they get their coffee or whatever, and then they finally get around to it. And the supervisor's just kind of like doing whatever he's got to do, and, you know, probably irritating him, but they're not going to say anything because you don't want to tick anybody off, because, you know, whether you admit it or not, you're just glad they showed up. And it's like, oh, thank you for showing up today, you know, shall we bow down and kiss your feet? I mean, I'm serious, you know, it's annoying, it's frustrating. And when they do show up, they show up fashionably late. And it sets everybody back. And it's like, oh, is such and such going to show up today? If they do, what time are they coming in? And you really don't pay too much attention to it because you got your job to do and you're focused on what you're doing. But at the same time, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, right? And there's a lot of weak links out there. So it's frustrating. It's annoying. I'm sure a lot of people can probably relate to this. So when I look at everything that's going on in the world and in this country, it's not surprising me. And when people say, well, that's not going to happen, and you're fear-mongering, and this is fear porn, and you should take this down, and you don't know this for sure, and it's not time for this yet. What do you think it's going to take before people finally say enough is enough? Well, I've always believed, as well as people like Pastor Faircloth and others, that it's the economy, stupid. Okay? It's always the money. When the money's gone, people will freak out when the money's gone. And what are they working on now? They're working on taking down the money. That's what will cause all of the chaos. That's what will cause people to freak out, to lose their minds, and everything else. None of the other stuff doesn't seem to matter too much. It's always about the money. Now, if there were foxtrots, you know, and certain cities are taken out, attacked, whatever the case may be, yeah, that affects a lot of people, a lot of things, because that's chaos and death and destruction and everything else. But ultimately, that will affect the money too, right? Because infrastructure falls. It all comes down. So basically, it's the money. So when people say, well, this isn't going to happen and that's not going to happen because it's not time for this yet, and according to this person's prophecy blog and according to what this person said they heard and blah, 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 that's not going to happen yet, and Dimitri Duduman and da-da-da-da. Okay, I get all that. But what do you think it's going to take for the internal revolution? It's going to take the money to collapse. And we are well on the verge of a historical collapse. The ruble has taken over the world. The dollar is collapsing, okay? It is happening, whether people want to recognize it or not. So, and you know what? Whoever is really, really messing with me right now, because I charged my phone completely and now I'm practically, it is just draining big time. So I'm not going to be able to stay on here much longer anyway. So I'm gonna have to sign off. I guess the shout out will have to come for another time. Actually, I'll do it real quick. But the bottom line is, it's the money, okay? So when you start to see credit cards not being able to work at certain places, debit cards not being able to work certain places, whether it's a day or two, or whether it's just certain places, not other places, and they're testing the system. They're setting it all up. They're getting ready for the big event. They're getting ready to bring it all down. Whether people want to recognize that or realize it or not. Oh, this is an anomaly. This is a coincidence. You know, it's not happening in my area, so it must not be happening anywhere. Don't be ignorant, okay? Just because it's not happening in your area doesn't mean it's not happening anywhere, okay? You know, pay attention. You know, pay attention. Listen to what people are saying throughout the United States that are reporting in and talking about all kinds of different issues and things that are happening to them and their family. And you know what? You live in Babylon. You live in the land of confusion. Get used to it for however much longer you're here. It's going to be very frustrating. It's going to be frustrating to be around people. It's going to be frustrating to work with people. It's going to be frustrating to be around people that don't have a clue, don't want a clue. And the chaos will ensue. And when it does, you want to be on the right side of things as much as possible. So that's why you want to get your ducks in order, you know, have a plan and so forth, and make good and wise choices and decisions. All right. So I'm not going to have time to do anything else. Like I said, they're really messing with me here. I charged my phone completely and now it's draining like crazy. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but I've noticed that. You charge your phone and then I've heard other people report on that, and it's just like, and it just drains. I mean, it just drains quickly. And it's like, well, maybe it's your battery. No, I don't think so. It's a pretty new battery, so something's going on. So anyway, I've heard other people say the same thing. But real quick, before I go here, shout out, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. Shout out to Chad Carr on his live streams. Chad, to me, is like the modern day Sun Tzu. He's like the white Sun Tzu. Chad is a military strategist, military tactician. People should probably tune into his live streams if you want to know what's going on. Chad has always been talking about the dragon, not so much the bear. And it looks like Chad's right, because what's in the news now? Chad does his live stream the next day. What do they talk about? They talk about the dragon. Whether people want to believe it or not, it fascinates me how constantly, I'll hear something, I'll get an email, a text or whatever, and then somebody else will talk about the exact same thing. Confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. So that's exactly what's happening now. So people should pay attention to Chad Carr, K-A-R-R, last name, and his live streams. The modern day Sun Tzu, the white Sun Tzu, what have you. Chad is very smart. Chad's a war veteran. He's a combat veteran. He's a brother in arms. Chad's been through hell and back. He's been through the blood, the mud, the guts. I would listen to the man. I do, because I've talked to him. And here's what's funny. When Chad and I try to talk on the phone, you can tell. You hear click, 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 you know, and there's just constant interruption and disruptions. They don't want us to talk to each other, folks. You know, because especially two combat veterans, they don't want to share information. And what I went through was a cakewalk compared to what Chad went through. I know what this man went through. So respect the man, respect his channel, respect the fact that he's trying to give you really good information, because he's doing a bang up job. All right, that's all I got time for. This thing's going to shut off on me. Unbelievable. All right. You guys have a blessed day, and I hope this was helpful, informative to somebody, you know, and just remember, this is the land of confusion. So don't be surprised when it's nothing but confusion. All right. All right, you guys have a good day. Bye-bye.